Hello, friends. This is Tamara with Lightsome Living, and happy Halloween. My family and I, we all dressed up as Waldos, all the Waldos. It was really fun. And I am recording this super late because the Scorpio new moon is tomorrow morning, bright and early. I sort of want to sleep in, but I have a busy day ahead of me as well. It's so interesting. This Scorpio energy is throwing me into this energy of DIY and renovation. That is part of this transformative energy of Scorpio. Did you know that? If you have strong Scorpio energy, you actually might like revamping or resurrecting things. And so I just find it sort of hilarious. Today I resurrected an old cedar chest. I sanded it. I don't know, just felt the urge and I just went with it. Um, and tomorrow I get to go remake over a my one of my parents' guest bedrooms. And I just think it's part of the energy and I'm leaning into it and running with it. So as we go through this video tonight, as I sort of give you an insight into what to look for and what to be aware of during this Scorpio new moon, I hope you will take notes. There's so much that we could say, but I'm just going to focus on a few key points and really remind you that you have Scorpio energy in your life. And it might not be super prominent, and for others, it might be dominant. Whatever it is for you, I encourage you to look on your birth chart and find what part of your birth chart is Scorpio at 9 degrees, because that is a very insightful degree that helps you have awareness and insight into what this energy is all about for you. So let's jump in. I will share my screen and we can this topic. Oops. We're gonna go presenter view. Hopefully this works. Okay. I think we're good. All right. Well, one of the tools that I like to utilize to help explore my Scorpio energy is my Zodiac workbook and journal. This is available on Amazon. You can purchase it right now. It can get there. I think it's ships over Prime, and so it's actually can deliver to your house really quickly. It again helps you understand your personal birth chart and where the Scorpio energy of this Scorpio season is impacting you personally. Now, this is traditionally something that you would want to hire an astrologer to do, but I believe you have powerful insights when you get into the details yourself and you start connecting the dots. So, this Scorpio workbook and journal will go over the season of as a whole, but also the ruling planets of Pluto and Mars. And we'll take you through worksheets and support tools for both the Scorpio new moon and the Taurus full moon. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description below for that. But let's jump into dissect what is the Scorpio new moon. It will be Friday, November 1st at 9 degrees 35 minutes. This is the degree that I was telling you to go find in your birth chart. And this is why having your birth time is super important because it helps identify the influence of these seasons in different areas of your life and the different houses of your birth chart. Um, there's quite a few interesting, as you can tell, patterns and aspects going on, and I'm not going to be able to break them all down. I don't like to make these videos super long, so I've decided to focus on three things and maybe bonus ones, we'll see, of at least three things that I feel like are really poignant and potent during this Scorpio new moon portal. And again, the portal lasts for about 2 to 3 days before the new moon and then 2 to 3 days after. So if you've been feeling the energy and the intensity as we approach the new moon and then maybe feel a little bit of a waning of it as we exit, that's all good. And be aware of what's triggering that and what's coming up for you. These are not with judgment, but just with curiosity. It will bring you greater insight and opportunities for healing. So when we talk about this Scorpio new moon, something that I really want to highlight is the importance of what's your focus? What are you paying attention to? And are you coming to that thing in your life with a mindset of this is a problem. Oh, I got to focus on the problem. Or Are you coming to the situation with a mindset of this is an opportunity? How can I create? What can I create because of this opportunity? And there is a fine line in this mindset of seeing life through the lens of problems versus seeing life through the lenses of opportunities. And the reason why I want to point this out is because we have something called a grand trine. There's a grand water trine going on right here, but it connects to what is known as a grand trine kite, where the top of the grand water trine, you have this small grand trine that is creating this kite aspect pattern. Do you see that? Where you see the small triangle at the top, the big triangle at the bottom, and then the opposition, the pole. It's sort of like a kite in the air. This kite happens to be facing, at least in this chart, it's like upside down. But this is a really poignant, interesting aspect pattern during the Scorpio new moon that I think again is presenting and showing so many opportunities. But is your mind open to the opportunity, or are you only focused on the problems? And that's what trines and sextiles introduce is opportunities, opening of doors if we can see them. Now, the benefit of any square or opposition, axis, or pattern is really to create that tension that also propels us into growth. And we need that as much as we need the opportunities. So, what I want to focus on to start is what is happening with this new moon. We see that the new moon is at 9 degrees, 35 minutes in Scorpio. Again, Scorpio energy is all about doing the transformative work, finding our shadows, facing our fears, exposing that, and coming to terms with it in complete honesty and rawness, and getting real with yourself instead of trying to bury it or ignore it. It's time to get brutally honest with yourself. And that's what we like to do in astrology, is to take responsibility for our lives by seeing things with your own new lenses and perspectives and moving in that energy. So with that reconnection of the conscious part and the subconscious part of ourselves, the sun and the moon, the present and the past, we are having a reconnection and a beginning of a brand new cycle of transformation for this part of ourselves. So again, where you are 9 degrees and 35 minutes on your birth chart will give you a clue into what area of your life this is showing up maybe most predominantly. All right. So pay attention to that little detail. One of the things that we see here that's fun to notice is this trine aspect pattern between the new moon and Saturn retrograde. And what we see here with Saturn retrograde, usually Saturn is a planet that is influential on society as a whole. Saturn rules government, it rules goals, career, reputation, just how we show up in the public eye. And when it goes retrograde, it means that, hey, we have overextended ourselves in some form or fashion, whether it's in our career, our government, our society, and it's time to correct that. And this is important because of the kite pattern that is happening. So paying attention to this Saturn retrograde trining the new moon helps us again to have this insight into where do I need to review? What do I need to like, did I overextend myself in? Have I overextended myself in other ways that I've lived in a little bit of delusionment, or maybe not really seen the forest for the trees and not really understood what I'm actually aiming for? This is the reason I say that is because Saturn retrograde is in Pisces, and Pisces can be a place where we get caught up in the dreams and sort of surreal but not truly reality. And Saturn retrograde is your reality check and saying, are you sure this is where you're going and this is right and this is truth? And doing that work to dig in and see that. And again, bring into it a lens of this is an opportunity. Do you see it as an opportunity? All right. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. So that's the first thing I want to highlight. So if you have strong Piscean energy or Scorpio energy, all the water signs really are getting triggered by this new moon. So if you have some strong water energy, this Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, this will also influence you that way too. Now, when we talk about the and I would also say that you're another thing to really evaluate is are you seeing your own worth and are you bringing that into your goals, into your career? Are you doing the work that allows you to show up, truly being honored in the public way or in the career that you're striving to create for yourself? Are you doing that from a healed place or from a wounded place? All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to highlight is the rulership. I'm I'm jumping around a little bit, but the rulership of Scorpio. Now there's two ruling planets of Scorpio, and that's Pluto and Mars is actually a co-ruler. And the significance of this is that Mars and Pluto during this new moon are in opposition to each other. In fact, they're creating quite the tension between home and family. So home, family, and career and work, right? And so if you felt some of this tension yourself in life lately, this tension is again an invitation to examine how how you are showing up for yourself in self-care and your emotional safety, and how that is actually influencing your ability to progress in your career and your goals. And there is a balance here. It is a very challenging thing to understand. But Mars in Cancer is really an opportunity to say, hey, this is a time and a place for you to show up for yourself here. Learn how to be courageous, to make time for this important emotional safety and self-care that gives you I guess, the strength to actually go into your career with clarity and with strength. And now, again, sometimes, when we look at this, there's Cancer. The ruler of Cancer is the moon. So we come back here to the Scorpio, and the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto and Mars. And so there's this mutual reception that is happening that is one is triggering the other and the other is triggering the one, and it just goes back and forth, ping pong sort of, until we can learn and see these lessons for ourselves. So if you have any kind of mother wound or emotional wounds that are keeping you from being able to settle into yourself and show up as yourself for yourself and in your career, this is going to stir the waters for that. All right. If there's anything else, yeah. So another thing to identify is that Pluto here is direct in its motion. So its transformative energy is moving and shaking up your Scorpio house. So wherever your Scorpio 9 degrees is, this is helping, like I said, move the waters so that you can deal with and see some of these shadows that need to be addressed. And when that happens, look through with honesty and with courage at what is under the surface so you can heal the things and be able to move forward. Again, this grand trine with the kite aspect pattern is helping you be able to move forward, and like a kite will fly in the sky, right? It can't fly and be steady and continue to fly without the tail and the anchor that is holding it back, creating that tension so it can fly. And that's why this Mars in Cancer is so important to work with and understand for yourself, because it's actually what will help propel you in your goals, in your dreams, and the things that you want to create in the more public sense. So yeah, don't ignore the private and home aspect of your life just because it's all about your career. It's finding the dynamic balance to do that. And this pattern is showing, hey, it's actually has a lot to do with your emotions. It has a lot to do with how you express your emotions with that Mercury in Scorpio. And then how are you seeking inspiration with that Neptune retrograde in Pisces? Are you really doing the work to get that insight, those downloads, that um, powerful divine inspiration in how you show up as yourself and bring that into your business and into your career for transformation. So your goals might be shifting, your priorities might be shifting, your career might be shifting. All of these things are shifting based off of what this balance and these lessons that are being learned. There's even more, my gosh, I could go into it more, but there's even more being identified with everything that's going on with Chiron and Aries, is helping you find more and more stronger sense of self. When you have a stronger sense of self, that's going to help you in this area. Now, this transit doesn't last very long. Mars is going to move on quicker. Pluto is almost on its way out of Capricorn, and we're going to see a massive shift culturally, societally. As Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's going to be amazing and exciting and transformative. So, if there's lessons to be learned, do the learning now because you're never going to see Pluto again in Capricorn in your lifetime. So do the work, do the pondering, do the reflection, learn these lessons, and do the healing work. This Scorpio healing energy is so powerful, and it's painful, but powerful. And so be gentle with yourself as you go through that. Another thing that I would highlight is that with this kite aspect pattern, some of the tools to help you navigate that is paying attention to Mercury in Scorpio and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Pisces is very much drawn to music and with Mercury, we have words and thoughts. So a way to support yourself during this new moon portal might also be Kundalini mantras or affirmations, music, meditation, other things that help sort of bring you back to your spirit self and really reconnect with that wisdom, and using your voice to articulate it, and sort of humming and singing can be part of that and helpful part of that too. Um, all right. So the gifts that are going to help you move forward really are those water signs. So pay attention to the Mars in Cancer, the Mercury in Scorpio, and that Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that really highlights what I wanted you all to focus on during the Scorpio new moon. I know I will be. Like I said in the beginning, I've been drawn to renovation and DIY projects for some reason, and I'm just going to trust that it has lessons for me to learn if I have my eyes open to see the opportunities in those lessons. And sometimes we want to be very linear and we want it just to be very clear what these lessons are, and sometimes we need to just see the symbolism and the reflection and the patterns that are being presented for those to happen. So I hope. I do have one more insight for you. This is Melissa is a lemon balm is also what it's known as, and it's an essential oil that I'm going to put a link for in the description below because it is a powerful oil for our immune system and for our bodies. It supports us in powerful ways, but on a spiritual layer, it also helps to awaken our souls to see truth and light. And Scorpio energy oftentimes gets associated with darkness and the shadows. And we want to bring light and truth to the shadows so we can do the healing that we need to do and be able to move forward out of our pains that are sometimes ruling our life, and really step into our power and the opportunity for healing and creating beautiful things in our lives and seeing opportunities instead of seeing the problems. It really can help you as you move forward. Again, there's a lot of shift happening in home and family life, and then work and career. And that is part of this, what's your fullest potential? How do you show up in that balance? And what does that look like? Melissa can help reconnect to your inner voice. Again, finding your voice, that Mercury in Scorpio, very helpful for, again, speaking and articulating and vocalizing the things that have been maybe your wounds that need to be released and let go of. And then bringing again joy back into your life. Like, it doesn't always have to be heavy and dark and hard. That is a part of the process of transformation, but it's not where you're meant to always live. So with that, just again, a reminder, When we have the sun moving through Scorpio, this does bring energy to these parts of the body. So if there's a part of your body that's showing up here that needs your attention, be gentle, be curious, and be aware, because that's what this work is all about. So I do have a free essential oil cheat sheet that you can download. Look for it in the description below because this is a great tool to get more insight into all the different parts of your birth chart and what is there for you to learn, and also how to utilize these different essential oils to meet the needs of these different signs of your birth chart. So I appreciate you guys jumping on and being part of my channel. I hope you will like this video, subscribe, and leave me in the notes in the comments if you have any other feedback or just what's going on in your Scorpio new moon. I'd love to hear, and we'll talk there. Thanks, guys. Bye.